those agencies and the deputies that are pledging allegiance to the new world order and good governance. And then I think you have the Inspector General do some spot audits to make sure that with the executive branch, because otherwise it doesn't work. So you got to eliminate that compliance, and you make it a mandate, and then you do training, particularly in the city, I'll call them licensing departments, whether it's zoning, buildings, housing will be impacted by it, planning certainly, and you pick the people to run those agencies and the deputies that are pledging allegiance to the new world order and good governance. And then I think you have the Inspector General do some spot audits to make sure that with the executive branch, because otherwise it doesn't work. So you got to eliminate that compliance, and you make it a mandate, and then you do training, particularly in the city, I'll call them licensing departments, whether it's zoning, buildings, housing will be impacted by it, planning certainly, and you pick the people to run those agencies and the deputies that are pledging allegiance to the new world order and good governance. And then I think you have the Inspector General do some spot audits to make sure that with the executive branch, because otherwise it doesn't work. So you got to eliminate.
The House of Representatives had received $10 million to pass the controversial infectious diseases bill.
We will leave no stone unturned in digging out this allegation to confirm whether there are moles amongst the members in the National Assembly.
The allegation, which was said to have been made by the spokesperson of the Coalition of United Political Parties, puts the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation at the giving end.
The foundation has not offered any financial incentives to any member of the Nigerian legislative branch.
The France supposed to bring back the money for Africa. These are trillions of dollars.
Yeah, because I think like American would say 500 million.
And that is over $600 trillion, not just 500. It's a lot of money since the independence. They've been paid.
Okay.
Those Chinese money are not a big money. It depends on the countries, because there's countries who have 5 billions, the countries who have 6 billions, there's countries who have 2 billions, and there's countries who have 15 billions and 13 billions. So it's almost around 100 something billions. This is not too much amount for the whole continent of Africa. And other countries who have debts from the West, they have not paid. Like Sudan, they have 50 billion US. They have not paid since the time of Numeri, and 3 other governments came, and still they have not paid the debts for that one. Mm-hmm. But this all Chinese debts for Sudan is almost about 6.3 billions US dollar. Mm-hmm. But these are small money. Even if it is 500 billions, Africa can pay back if they sit together. Correct. If they want the well-being of Africa. Because now Africa has been hostage, is now under slavery, economic slavery, because of this money that had not been paid. Mm-hmm. Our sister was talking about this, the nuclear weapons and all these things. We should, everything that the American use, the raw material is here. Uranium, you have them here in Africa. Mm-hmm. And all these things has been taken from you. So you have to make a strong institution. As I say, this once come to the institution only when we unite. I talk about this repatriation a long time ago, for 11 years now. One time I was sitting with some leaders in one of the Western country, and I told them that you are treating our people badly, but one day you will hear my voice somewhere that calling people back to Africa, to repatriate them back to Africa. Families has to come back to Africa. Because the intention of this evil man called Bill Gates and George Soros and others It's to depopulate you, to vaccinate you, to change you from human to be somebody being run by the technology somewhere there. And people still love them. Mandela is our hero. Yes, we know. He fought. He has been in prison for South Africa, yes. But his party did a wrong thing when he invited this man, so-called Bill Gates, to sponsor them, to sponsor their party, their election, which is called a free election. South Africa is the one who introduced Bill Gates to Africa. Bill Gates is not a smart man, as you know. He's a man of opportunity. He see the opportunity come in. And this is what he has shown. Africa is a place that he can make money out of it. But as Africa has paid a price for no reason, my voice has to go to him. The God of Africa will deal with Bill Gates. The God of Africa that is calling people back will deal with Bill Gates and those who are with him in the system. They have been killing people always. Bill Clinton of America, telling them sorry because our government, our people has poisoned you with sickness called syphilis. Testing them to the African community, 600 people, and people start dying. Apology with words doesn't work. Doesn't change anything. They have brought virus of HIV and killing people in Africa. Apology will never work. These things will never work. Ebola has killed people, and this is imparted disease. Apology will not work. Will not bring people back to life. This cholera, this typhoid, this malaria that we have in Africa, you don't see them. You don't see somebody has been admitted in the hospital in America or in the West because he has a malaria or typhoid. But we have them in Africa here. Who will speak it out? Who will talk to them? Who will tell them the truth? Who will point their faces with their hands and point them and tell them it is you who have done it? Now this pandemic has given people to speak the truth. Not only the black community, the white people who have been convicted, and they are telling the truth about what the white community has done to the black community. The good thing, God has not put a racism in our heart. This racism that we have in Africa, it was created by them. Divide and rule. When they said in Berlin, and they start dividing Africa. And that is why we have this problem. One leader, when he is doing fine, he will go and bring a useless leader somewhere and say, go and kill your brother, because he's not listening to us. And I'll have to tell the African leaders now, you have a friend in the West. When you hear a Western man telling you that man is a good man, put yourself into trouble. Look to yourself very well in the mirror. When they say that's a good boy, you are really a bad boy for them. They don't praise you for good, they praise you for bad. And our people has to understand these things. It is our time to speak it out. The time of slavery has gone. The time of oppressing people has gone. And I speaking these things in this land of Africa because I know myself. I was born in Africa and Africa was born out of me. And this is the time that we have to have a better strong voice. Our leaders, yes, full of fear. Some of them, they're selfish, but their selfishness has come into the end now. Since the pandemic, now we are going for almost 2 months when African leaders and finance ministers write to the international community telling them that we need 150 billion US dollar to fight the COVID-19. Even 100 million has not come until today. And they will use it for you to bow down if they give you that 150 billion. We have been bowing down for them for long, like we have nothing. The resources, the untapped resources we have, the minerals, is enough to stop them, to tell them enough is enough. We will do it ourselves. After this COVID-19, there will be new bilateral agreements between these nations. And it has to be driven by the African Union to put a strong constitution, as I said it before. And this is the time we have to wake up, Africa.